All right, it's another moment in time, which is ultimately that's all that time is. It's nothing but moments. But how we exist in the present moment, that's really the question. Really, what drives us? What motivates us? What inspires us? What do we enjoy? What don't we enjoy? Or really, what do we focus on? That's really what creates our sense, at least, of reality. That is something that's very interesting, really to think about that, to look at that. What is really reality? Yeah, well, the saying goes, perception is reality. If that's really the case, and we all perceive differently, then of course what's real to me is not real to you. And so there's really no surprise we all are divided. But the real question here then is, that I would like to raise, is how can we be more real with one another? How can I become aware of your reality? How can I connect with you in your reality? To be real towards you, to open myself up to what's real to you, instead of just being stuck within my own reality. And to some degree we all are that. And we all look for what we look for, and we think what we think, and we say what we say, and we believe what we believe, and we do what we do. We are driven by the routine, and we're all driven to find what we're looking for. Happiness, love, success, whatever that means to us, that drives us. That's what motivates us. And that's also how we are separated. It's like we're struggling side by side in this world. And we are competing against each other. And it's a rat race. To really look at that, it's important in relationships. When relationships go sour, and that happens a lot. When people disagree with each other or misunderstand each other. We don't like what another person is saying. We only like them up until that point. Until they do or say something we don't like or we don't agree with, and then we have a tendency of arguing with that person. Which if you really think about that, when you argue with another person, that's a form of war. Because you're basically saying you're wrong. And I'm not listening to you, I'm going to cut you off now because I'm going to argue with you instead. I think it is very important to not only become aware of that, but then to also realize, okay, that's happening, and I can continue to do that and be upset with people when they say or do something I don't like, and then I complain about them, and then I feel bad about it, and maybe I feel attacked by them, and then I get defensive, or then I also get accusatory, and bad feelings happen. And this is what you can do, and you can continue to have that happen in your life. Because there are always people who are difficult and people who give you a hard time. And so you can either react to that negatively and then start arguing with that person, or, and that is really something that I'm encouraging here, is to just simply learn the other person, to really get to know them, to allow them to be the way they are. No ifs and no buts. Not trying to change them in any way, shape or form. Regardless of how unreasonable or hurtful or insensitive or rude or however terrible they are, however you think they are wrong. I really believe it's not up to us to point that out to other people and say, and then to show them you're wrong, tell them that you're wrong, and then try to correct them. Because ultimately we cannot do that, and that's not our job. That's actually the main lessons I took from my difficult experiences during my marriage. The main and most important lesson, the most difficult lesson there is that you cannot change people. I can talk about that, and I know that I'm not the only one who has talked about that, because it is somewhat common knowledge that you cannot change people. But the practical applications of that's really the missing link. How to put that awareness into practice. And that's really the whole point of an idea I came up with, a concept I've developed. It's a philosophy, a new way of thinking. But then that's really the missing link, is about putting that awareness into practice. And that is what realize to actualize is all about. It's really about the difference between knowing and doing. Knowing something is the first part. It's very, very important to know, to realize something new, to realize what it is you realize, what it is you know, to become aware of that. What do I want to change? To realize truth. What do I know? Knowledge is power. Again, that's the first step, the realization. But then the key, and that's the missing link, and that requires a day-to-day practice, and that's the actualization. The living in accordance to that awareness. And nobody can do that for you. Nobody can teach you that. But you can learn this for yourself. Or rather, you can practice it for yourself. Maybe you can look at that. You can become aware of that. About how you have every moment of your life an opportunity to practice. Especially when things are difficult. Especially when there are difficult people in your life. I mean, the reality is also that we learn, well, that's what we look for, is we want things to be easy. We want to have a good time. We want to feel good. And we want people to be the way we are, or the way we want them to. We also know that we don't see the world as it is, but as we are. Coming back to, again, how to be more real. And so, in order to be more real, it's very important to connect to that which is real. And everything is real. And it's not only what's real nice to you, what's pleasant to you, what you like, what you enjoy, what you want. It's not just about that. Because life is really about what you give. And it's about giving the space so you can learn about what is new. Which is different from what you are and what you want. Because what you want and what you are is all part of your programming, which is your patterns, which is what drives you, what motivates you, what you seek, what you know, or what you think you know. But that's all. That's all it is. There's nothing new. Because that's how we all have become. We go through the world looking for what we want, what we seek. Which comes from really what we have programmed to believe about ourselves and what we need, what we think we need, what we're missing or think we're missing, what we want to get out of life, what we think life is all about. I mean, that's really where it begins. What have we learned there? What life is all about? The meaning of life. We learn that as children. We're told the story about, okay, in order to be part of this world, to live in this world, you need to do this, you need to listen to a teacher, you need to take notes, you need to study for tests, so one day you can earn money, then you can be happy. That we need to prove ourselves, we need to achieve, we need to produce, and the purpose of life is consumption, and then more production, and more things. And we have all this technology that we have developed that in amazing ways, and our scientific discoveries. But emotionally and spiritually, we human beings are still in the Stone Ages. The army, the industry, military industry is really controlling everything. The pharmaceutical industry, which is all about basically dumbing people down. It's not really about helping people to feel better, but it's basically getting people to do what they're told. Getting children to sit still in school so they can listen to a teacher, so they are obedient and fit the mold. So the system can function, the matrix can function. But it is really this matrix or this universal consciousness that has controlled this world ever since the beginning of time. And this consciousness is fear-based. It's not out of love. Because the system actually that we exist in, it does not really serve us, but we serve the system. We are enslaved by the system. And every institution is about that, be it every industry, every branch of government, be it the educational system or the economic system, again the military system, even entertainment industry is about getting people to just watch things and be entertained, while what's happening behind closed curtains nobody really knows. And yes, we can watch the news, and yet yes, we can vote, but what's really happening, we don't have influence over that. We are just programmed to do our job, and everybody is doing their job, and everybody only cares about what they care about because they only know what they know. And again, my reality is a result of my experiences and what I've been told. We can learn to be new. That now is the time for us to go beyond the programming and beyond the struggle and beyond the mine versus yours. And now is the time to let go of all violence and all fear, that delusion and illusion of separation, of mine versus yours, us versus them, and that struggle and that competition. It's time to make peace. That there have been many revolutions fought throughout human history where the masses were just dissatisfied with what's happening with the government, and they realized there was an oppressor or there was an injustice, and so there was a revolution that just tried to overthrow the government and replace one system with another system, which many times that new system became more corrupt than the old system it replaced. In reality, a system needs to grow from within, and that's a result of human collaboration and synergy. And we cannot bring that new system as a result of a revolution. It's only the evolution that can help us to become more connected to that, and to become more connected to one another, to become more connected to ourselves, as we begin to wake up and evolve in our consciousness.